Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Wednesday, the 15th of October, run in association with KUMB.com. Now, today for you, we have got an overview of the supporters' letter to Nuno, an update on the possibility of stadium ownership, and the latest on Toney as a potential January recruit. So while the intro runs, get involved in the comment section down below, and of course, make sure you hit the thumbs up button on this video. Let's go. West Ham Network for your first story today. With just 5 days until the Brentford game, West Ham fans and supporters group Hammers United have written an open letter to Nuno, reinforcing the messaging and explaining the stance on the board, as well as the support for the team and the players. So it speaks about welcoming Nuno and wishing him and the staff all the best as they work towards getting West Ham back on track. It then goes on to outline the whole basis again of the No More BS campaign being directed at Brady and Sullivan to resign, but that is not aimed whatsoever at Nuno or his predecessors. And it also speaks about how Nuno has the group's full support. Now, one of the key parts of this is it speaks about how measures designed to disrupt the boycott may be seen or are expected to be seen, including those that do sow division amongst fans. And this is something that personally I've been seeing quite a lot of on social media, with a few people getting quite a lot of abuse, I suppose, for attending the game against Brentford. Now, I personally am not attending, and I know that tensions are very, very high, but I think it's one of those where, while I know there are a lot of strong beliefs out there, we really shouldn't, as a fan base, be ripping each other to shreds, because it doesn't achieve what we're trying to achieve here. Because ultimately, obviously, this is my personal belief. I believe that as West Ham fans, we're all a family. We all want us to do well. And everyone has got very different ways of showing things. And it's one of the things that I guess I love about West Ham fans, is that I can have a debate and have a completely different opinion to someone else. And we don't need to fall out about it. We can agree to disagree, if you know what I mean, and sort of move on from that as fans. But ultimately, we all want to win. We all want to make a difference, and we all want the club to succeed. Obviously, we've all got the opportunity right now to make a difference with our own season tickets if we want to, but it has made me sad to see a bit of a division forming, I suppose, amongst fans, because ultimately we all do want West Ham to do well, and everyone's got their own ways of showing things, I suppose. Anyway, then the letter goes on to say that the coaching staff and players can be assured that they have our full support for the Brentford game, and the support will be obviously in spirit rather than in physical attendance for most of us. I think as well, this message has been communicated very well, because it's all based around one central purpose there, and that it speaks about the support for the team and the players obviously continuing regardless of attendance at the Brentford game and any other games where there are protests coming. And that is the basis of all successful protests, isn't it? When you think about it, it remains professional. You've got one clear message, one clear objective, and things are no doubt going to intensify as the Brentford game draws closer. But that is the latest on the protest and the overall messaging that's surrounding it. So yeah, there you have it, the latest update. Now, for your second story, Sean Whetstone has explained some very interesting points about the possibility of us owning the stadium, with us having another 90 years remaining on our lease. So he's explained that the stadium actually being owned by the club is very unlikely in our lifetimes without us having to overcome some very big hurdles. So as an overview, our initial 2.5 million cost of playing at the stadium has grown to 4 million per season. Obviously, that's a lot of money, but when you look at what it would cost to build a new stadium, you look at Brentford and Spurs that have done this, it costs a lot more. But the London Stadium has now also spent more than £1.2 billion, with 710 million of this coming from accumulated losses. So that simply put, is a bit of a money pit. But Whetstone has said that with so much public money now invested, no politician is going to want to approve a sale of it to us, and nobody in their right mind would really want to buy it either. And then on top of that, there's some EU regulations that we still need to abide to due to being part of UEFA. meaning basically we can't get the stadium for a super cheap price, even if they want rid of it, because this would put us at an unfair advantage in other UEFA competitions, which also would need us to do well enough in the Premier League to be back in Europe. But nonetheless, it's something that we've got to abide to. So initially we had thoughts that when the LLDC was taken apart in 2025, it was kind of this milestone that we'd all been setting. We hoped that a third party might have then come in, got that, and leased the stadium to us with some more flattering options or different options. But unfortunately, this didn't happen. And instead, the stadium was separated from the Queen Elizabeth Park, which kind of made it worse, and put into a holding company. So it now makes it even more unlikely that a company will come in and take over the lease, because it was kind of the hope that someone would come in, take over the whole Olympic Park, make some sort of deal with us where we could have the opportunity to own it or have more say in it. And it would kind of be more profitable and beneficial for everyone. But that hasn't happened. For anyone that doesn't know, though, something that I find quite interesting is that Man City have a very similar setup to us, but they managed to negotiate with Manchester City Council, who are the freeholders for their club, just like the LLDC or whoever it is that now owns it is for West Ham, to continue leasing their stadium, but pay a flat fee each year and no longer need to give half the money from their ticket sales, which was their original agreement. They were then able to expand the stadium. So they've been able to work a lot more harmoniously to do things that benefit them as a football stadium. And this is the kind of thing that can be achieved if owners can negotiate successfully with leaseholders. However, Whetstone's biggest message here, which kind of goes back into story one, was that basically Brady and Sadiq Khan do not see eye to eye, and this means that any deal would be pretty unlikely to take place while both of them are still in control. So the options as they currently stand, if Brady and Khan left, a deal could potentially be negotiated, or alternatively, I think it was in, I don't even know how to pronounce his number, 2112, in that year, the stadium could be transferred to us. Or by then we could have gone elsewhere and built something new. But simply put, we're facing a little bit of a stalemate as things currently stand in terms of how we can improve the stadium for football. Nothing new, but just a bit of an update on why and how. And now for your final story, Mick Brown has said that West Ham are definitely targeting Ivan Toney, a name that we've spoken about many times over the years on the channel. It's thought that he could be leaving Al Ahly on loan because he wants to get into the England squad for the World Cup. So he wants to show what he can do back in the Premier League. And now a lot of channels are reporting that this does look to be our most viable option. In terms of what we need, while we want long-term players with years ahead of them, a loan for Toney could make his wages affordable because he's obviously getting paid a fortune out there, and he is still clinical in front of goal. So he could bring us another option should it be somewhat affordable for us. We've spoken before about Toney's attitude being a potential challenge, but he's physical. He scored 8 goals in 10 games this season. So while that league's obviously a different standard, we've seen what he can do in the Premier League. It doesn't look as though he's lost it. And he might be able to slot back into Premier League football. And he would, of course, have a point to prove, and he would be on an absolute mission to showcase himself to Tuchel to get into that World Cup squad. So it's definitely food for thought in January, which could be mutually beneficial if we can find a price that would work. A short-term loan, with regardless of whatever attitude he might have, I think if he's got a point to prove and it's seen as a short term for him because he simply wants to prove himself to Tuchel, it could be mutually beneficial if there's not a striker that is available in January, which, as we know, the best ones, the goal scoring ones, typically aren't. But yeah, food for thought. The question I've got for you is, do you think that this is a move that we should pursue? And is there a price limit at which you'd say absolutely not to Ivan Toney? So there you have it. Those have been your Hammers headlines for today, run in association with KUMB.com. If you haven't already, please get involved in that discussion. Leave us a comment with your thoughts. Give us a thumbs up, and also give a thumbs up to those that you agree with in the comment section. Throw a couple of replies in there while you're with us. So as always, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, every bit of support, every bit of interaction goes such a long way to supporting the channel. And if you're new around here, we'd love for you to subscribe so you can see more of our content in the future as well. Also, check out my video from earlier today where I asked you how many points West Ham should be picking up over our next 5 games. It's definitely a difficult one to predict, but we had a lot to discuss and talk about. I've been Holly. Thank you so much as always for watching. Have a great day. And until next time, come on you Irons. Irons.